Call of Duty seems empty now. Now, when you clicked on this video, you're probably a little bit confused. Maybe it's because you think that there's not a lot of Call of Duty hype right now, and we will get into that for sure. But I think there's a few things that Call of Duty has done really, really poorly lately that a lot of these other games are knocking it out of the park with. And that is why Call of Duty feels like it's just missing something. So let's talk about it. Let's open up the rant, the T-Dawg rant. We haven't done one of these in a while. Let me quickly show you this clip of an old school lobby in MW2.
Why you taking over game off the bullshit, bro? Hey, ask your age. What the fuck you talking about?
And now, let me show you a lobby of Black Ops 6. Now, obviously, we're looking at the fact that there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of chatter. There's not a lot happening in these lobbies nowadays. And I'm going to be honest with you. I do think, obviously, for the generic answers, people use party chats nowadays in PlayStation and Xbox. So they're using some sort of Discord chat. So there's just not a lot of chatter like there was. And I think that that is definitely part of it. But I think that there's something way deeper going on. And I want to explain to you in this video. Before I get to that point, I just want to quickly go over the reason I'm making this video is because it feels like Call of Duty this year is just, there is just zero hype for it. Whether people think this game is a DLC, whether people think they're just tired of Activision, they don't want to pay $70. There's other games to be able to play that are crazy competition this year. People are just kind of over it. So we start off with that. It starts off with the game comes out in 3 weeks and I feel like nobody's talking about it. My friend group doesn't even probably know the release date. And to me, that's sad because it used to be the total opposite. I was marking down the days for a new Call of Duty, and now it feels like it just comes out every year. You play it for a month and then you throw it in the garbage can or uninstall it. And again, with Game Pass now, it makes it even easier to uninstall it because you're like, oh, I just paid for a month trial of that pretty much. So let's go over and what we're going to deep dive into is the latest game, Black Ops 6. This is where I'm getting my thoughts and information from. And so let's dive into Black Ops 6 and let's look at the main menu system here. And reminder, the title of this video is Call of Duty Seems Empty Now. And so when we dive right in, we're greeted with the main menu of campaign, zombies, multiplayer, Warzone, like the typical thing. And so what I was doing last night, I was clicking around a little bit and I'm going, okay, let me boot into multiplayer. And I booted into multiplayer and I was greeted with a bunch of menus. And then I booted into Warzone and I was greeted with a bunch of menus. And then I was booting into zombies and I was greeted with a bunch of menus. So to start off, we're right away dividing the player base with these 4 separate categories. You know, I feel like in the older Call of Duties, we used to have like multiplayer and campaign. And then zombies got added in and it was still kind of all together in this one little functioning thing where you're like, okay, you can choose one of the 3, but it doesn't feel like you're going to a totally different product, which I think that's part of the problem. But let's dive into one of these categories, a category that I tend to go to a lot more often, which is multiplayer. I booted into multiplayer and I'm greeted with a long list of game modes, and it's the generic game modes. It is the ability then to go to the hardcore game modes. It's then the ability to go to the party game modes. It's then to the ability to go to one of the mosh pits with the new maps. And then it's the ability to go to the small map mosh pit where you just do that brain rot map that I try to forget the name of it. And
I actually have forgotten about it.
Let's look at it from a perspective of if you're a multiplayer person, you are dividing yourself up so much. You are not playing something that maybe your neighbor is playing. You could be in a small mosh pit map. You could be in a TDM. You could be in a hard point. You could be playing the new maps. You could go into a hardcore mode of all that stuff. Or if you just want to play gun game, you can do that. Now, I'm down to talk about this a little bit later. I think there's a spot where there should be options, but this has gotten a little ridiculous. After looking at the multiplayer menu, I then backed out and I went to Warzone. And let's take a look at this for a second. You want to talk about divided? We have Warzone, we have Rebirth, we have Warzone Casual, we have Warzone Casual Solos, we have Warzone Casual Quads, we have Rebirth Island, we have Rebirth Island Casual, we have Rebirth Island Squads Casual, we have the Halloween mode that's happening right now in both the casual modes and not the casual modes, I think. And then we have the typical, like, what's the map? Plunder. And we have some other sort of small mode that you can play within Warzone. Another case of a lack of community, because literally every single person could play something different. And there just seems like there's nothing to put you into one mode where everybody's in. I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
So we go over the war zones, and obviously people can't even find solo matches anymore. If you guys didn't know this, some of you guys probably don't even play Warzone, but there has been like times where it takes like 15 minutes to find a solo because there's not enough people playing solo Warzone. Well, why do you think that is? There's 85 categories. Let's keep it moving right along. Let's go over to the zombies tab. And I obviously don't play a lot of zombies, but I know there's like 5 different modes right now. There's like the regular mode, there's like the grief mode, there's the directed mode, and then in the new one, there's gonna be like the hard classic mode or whatever like that. 17 different ways to play zombies. Now, with all this to say, as I look at my notes in front of me, why does that bother me so much? And what is that affecting in the realm of Call of Duty? Well, I think it's affecting a lot. I think it is affecting the overall player base feeling like they're united and doing the same thing. Now, the reason I say this is because there's 3 games out there that I've played recently, actually 4, excuse me, that I feel like are doing this in a phenomenal way. And again, I'll explain my point as we get through it. Let's go into Battlefield. Again, this is a game that just came out. It is doing so well. People are loving what's going on with this game. They're making all the right choices, all the right updates. But when you notice, minus the menu system is a terrible menu system. But what is everybody really playing when they play Battlefield? There's really only conquest. Yes, there's like breakthrough and campaign and like the small mosh pit. But let's be honest with ourselves. Everybody is most of the time selecting conquest. It's this big, 64 big war zone and planes and tanks and jets and all this sorts of stuff that feels like you're in a major battle with just everybody in the community. And then let's go to Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders just came out, or it's coming out, but they did a tech test this weekend, or server test, and everybody booting into Arc Raiders played in the same map. It was solos or trios, and you just dove in, and this whole area is defended by like these robots. I don't know a ton about the game, but I just know that you're in there trying to survive, you're trying to get stuff from the map, and you're doing it just like everybody else is. Everybody's booting into the same map, trying to get stuff and extract from these same exact things. And then you go to Helldivers, very similar. Couple different planets. You go drop in, you're trying to liberate the planet. On top of that, there's this overarching goal that everybody is trying to participate in. So it's like you go liberate with a group of friends, but on top of that, you're also trying to liberate this whole product. And again, that creates a sense of community. Everybody's talking about that same objective. And then we go to another one that I actually just thought about recently, was the finals. This is a game that I played a couple times, and really when you boot into the game, there's only like 2 modes. It's the cash mode, and then I think it's kind of like hardpoint. It's like the moving hardpoint. And then there is like a 3rd mode where you can do TDM and warm up. And obviously they have their ranked play and stuff like that. But again, you're booting into these games you're all in the same kind of area. You're all in the same ballpark. You're all doing the same similar thing. With this being said, I think my argument against some of the emptiness that Call of Duty is the fact that we need to cut down some of these modes. I feel like when I remember old school Call of Duty, it had this feel like what Battlefield had. It felt like when you booted into MW2, you were either playing like domination for nukes, or you were playing search and destroy to kind of like get some clips or argue with the other team and create a little rivalry. And then of course there was people playing TDM and free for all. But other than that, like there wasn't a lot of people playing anything else. It was like this one product that when you saw somebody doing a spinning 360 trick shot, you're like, oh, they're in S&D trying to hit the final kill cam. Or when they're going for nukes, you're like, oh, they're in domination. They're trying to get a nuke. They're trying to get their crazy streaks. They're trying to build something insane and show off this crazy gameplay. There is just so much it's so cumbersome. Is that the word I'm looking for? So complicated, so just too much fluff. And I think a part of this, and I know a lot of people, like they don't like streamers, they don't like YouTubers, but I think something that I'm noticing here while I'm watching Battlefield people, like a Tim the Tap Man, he plays Conquest and he boots into Conquest. And then when I go play Battlefield, guess what I'm booting into? Conquest. So it makes you feel like, hey, we're all on the same team. We're all doing the same thing. Oh, I watch him. I'm getting tips and tricks from him. I know exactly what he's doing. I can go apply that to my game. It makes me want to continue to play. And it's the same thing with Arc Raiders. They're all doing the same thing. Oh, okay. I watched this streamer get absolutely destroyed by that little spider thing. And you're like, oh, okay, we need to avoid the spider thing when I play the game. In Call of Duty, you may be watching somebody play casual Warzone by himself, where they're playing 100 bots and 40 real people. And it just makes it feel like you're just, again, I've said it before, it feels like you're in a different universe. I miss the old days of feeling like we were all excited to play this product and we were all kind of playing a similar product. Like, even if you go back to MW19, which is only 5-6 years ago, there was Warzone and there was multiplayer. And multiplayer had a certain amount of modes, and Warzone was like solo, duo, even in the beginning of Warzone, I think it was like what, trios only? So I'm not saying maybe get to that spot where there's no options, but maybe that is something that we need to consider. Maybe the ability to kind of play whatever you want and giving us so many modes is actually hurting the game. And on top of this, I mean, I know this is kind of a random side note. Have you ever considered, like, if they could implement the forced game chat again? Do you guys remember when MW2 did that, and when you booted into Search and Destroy, you couldn't be in a party anymore, and it created this, like, okay, I got to talk to my teammates and I got to be able to talk smack to the other team. And I feel like a lot of these games, when I play Battlefield, when I played Arc Raider, I didn't play Arc Raiders, I watched Arc Raiders, it felt like a lot of people were using their mics. It felt like Battlefield, there's people instructing people and all this stuff, and then Arc Raiders is like, hey, don't shoot, because of the prox chat thing. Dude, when I get on the chat on the mic on Call of Duty, there is nobody on the other end. And part of that is probably because somebody said something semi-fishy, and then they get prox chat banned for 30 days. There's also a place in that where you can make an argument. It's like, okay, there needs to be some room for some trash talking. Come on, guys. We're human beings. We don't have to go so crazy on this. But you got to allow us to kind of like fight back a little bit and not go, okay, he said that guy's a you-know-what. He's banned for 30 days. And again, that is something that old school Call of Duty did. I'm not looking for some of the things that were said back in the day to return. But there is a world where Call of Duty was thriving because there was limited modes. You were trying to do an objective with each one of those modes. And on top of that, they were forcing people to talk to each other, creating rivalries, creating community, creating friends, creating some not so, nice words being said to each other, but it was all part of the experience. And I don't know if that makes me old fashioned. I don't know if that makes me, the old head going, oh, it was better back in my day. But I really do believe that because of all this, all these little things have now piled up to become one big thing. And when small things become a big thing, then it impacts the core of the game. And again, this is not even an argument for like, should Black Ops 7 have been the next Call of Duty? This is just the fact of there's a lot of things that old school Call of Duty did really well, and Call of Duty has completely gone away from it. And I feel like they're in this identity crisis, and it's time to hit the reset button. And it won't be this Call of Duty. It'll have to be the next one. But Modern Warfare 4, if you're listening, Infinity Ward, I don't hate the way that you managed Modern Warfare 19 in terms of game modes and Warzone. I think we almost need to return to that. And if we have no skill-based matchmaking, it's going to be people going for nukes. It's going to be having fun S&D matches. And I think that's it. I think that's a big thing that could be changed, that maybe feels like a small thing, but it makes Call of Duty get back to its roots. And the next couple rants that I'm going to be making here on this channel, make sure you're subscribed, by the way, too, because I have a lot of things that I've been making notes of. And I think some of these are very, very important topics that maybe Call of Duty hasn't thought of in the way that I think about it. So if you enjoyed this video, please write your feedback down. If you think I'm correct in this, and if you don't think I'm correct in this, write something in the comments. Let me know. If you're down for this type of content, I'm going to continue to do it because I love these ranting videos and I want to continue to see this product be better. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this video around with your friends, and we're going to keep making these rants up until Black Ops 7, maybe even after that, because I have a lot to say. Also, one side note, if you made it this far, you are a legit one. I am making Star Wars content again on top of the second channel, but Star Wars Galactic Scoop is the channel. We're going to be doing that for the near future while we wait for Black Ops 7. So there's going to be rants over here about COD, and then there's going to be some Star Wars content mixed in. So I said that in the last video. And I know some of you are disappointed that I'm not really doing Battlefield as much. I just got to be upfront with you guys. I said it in the last video too. I wanted to try campaign and labs. I'll try the battle royale whenever that comes out. The multiplayer, I'm just a COD multiplayer guy. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for all the support on the channel. Leave a like again, subscribe if you're new, and rant is over. We'll see you in the next one.